Oui. Je vais faire prêt. Pour préparer ma. Non. Je n'ai pas préparé.
Who's this, Mohammed Pharmacy? Good. Sigue caminhando. Já está. Sem cabelo.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. MashaAllah, brothers, once again we're in the house of Allah, inshallah. All I like to say is to fix ourselves, in order to fix the lines. I know we have a space everywhere today, but still, let's make the line beautiful, inshallah. And let's give Imam a couple minutes. Inshallah, he'll be around. He'll be so, inshallah. He's here already, inshallah. All right. And secondly, don't forget turn off your phone, inshallah. Double check your phone and turn it off. Double check your phones. Please let's double check our phones.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد يقول الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولقد صرفنا في هذا القرآن للناس من كل مثل وكان الإنسان أكثر شيء جدلا وقال مصطفى صلى الله عليه وسلم خيركم من تعلم القرآن وعلمه أو كما قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم نسأل الله يجعلنا من الذين يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. My respected elders, brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the uniqueness of Al-Quran. In Surah Kaf, Quran chapter 18, the verse that we all recite at least every Friday. Verse 54, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has compacted everything, has laid out similitudes, examples, the dots to be connected on everything. But man is ever contentious. And the Prophet ﷺ was reported to have said that the best among you is the one who learns Al-Quran and then imparts the knowledge. And looking at this verse and this hadith, it shows the uniqueness of Al-Quran. And so if you subscribe to Al-Quran, which means you're supposed to be the best, because you have link to everything. The problem with us as Muslims is we read Al-Quran, we understand Al-Quran in our own understanding, but we don't actualize what we are actually reading. Knowing something is one thing. To actualize what you know is another. Knowledge is nothing but information. But if you're not actually making good use of the information, if you're not actualizing it, then it's still just an information. It's just information. And that's the problem with us. And when I say us, I don't mean us in this masjid, us as the Muslim Ummah. How could we subscribe to a book that the Creator himself described it بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم كتاب مفصلت آيات القرآن العربية لقوم يعلمون. Al-Quran has actually laid plain everything. And it's not just for common people, but people who are smart, people with knowledge, people who are well grounded in knowledge. And that's our Al-Quran. And yet, look at us. And that's why I always ask him, either we let Quran and Islam down, or it's just the opposite. Islam let us down, or we let Islam down. It has to be one of those two, because there is no match. How could you have the best food in the world and be sick? How could you have the best medicine in the world and then you're having health problems? It doesn't just, it just doesn't match. If you have the best medicine, you're supposed to be healthy. And so if you have the best Quran, you're supposed to be the best. But unfortunately, we are not operating just like anybody else. We actually operating under everybody else. It was only last week that scientists discovered that fasting, which actually results in cut of calories, is not only just good for what we know, diabetes, hypertension, blood pressure. At the cellular level, is good for the factories in our bodies that make protein. And we know our bodies, the structure is what? It's protein. And so if you have healthy protein, by result is what? It results in a healthy body. And now they're even encouraging people to actually fast, even more. I told you the last time here, they said, at least you fast 6 times in a week, in a month. Well, the Prophet ﷺ taught us to fast 8 times in a month. And now with this new discovery, this Subhanallah is saying that it takes it to the next level. And we have a problem that is related with the liver. We talk twisting names. You have cholelithiasis, cholecystitis, choledocholithiasis, and cholangitis. And all these names are very scary. But fasting actually drastically reduces the risk. Because sometimes it's related with pain that women are saying that they rather go through another, the pain that is associated with birth than actually face this pain that is actually coming from your liver. And subhanallah, fasting is there to actually minimize, drastically cut the risk. And as they always say, according to latest research. So now they're actually even encouraging even more. This is something that the Prophet ﷺ taught us 1,400 years ago. One of the most respected scientists in America is now encouraging them to actually, even if they use toilet roll, to also use water. Because now they found out there are certain bacteria that as long as they keep on hanging there, once they go back, they cause trouble. So they're saying that tissue is not enough. You need water. Now, and one of the best is telling them, the Prophet ﷺ taught us this, even a Muslim who cannot read and write knows this. And it has been part of our legacy 1,400 years ago. All these are to show us that we are supposed to be very, very sophisticated people. Very, very sophisticated. When America realized that simple sugars actually contribute to diabetes, it wasn't good business. It wasn't good news for those engaged in sugary business. So they actually paid 3 scientists to cook the books, to let them to downplay that discovery. And all these 3 scientists, then they were at Harvard University, and it's one of the best in the world. And so people said, well, if Harvard University is saying that, hey, sugar is not a big deal, let's go for it. Now look, the mess that we got. With almost half of the population is suffering from either diabetes or pre-diabetes. and Muslims are falling into the same category. When the Prophet ﷺ has already given us the best of the best and taught us where to source something that can actually tantalize our taste buds and still be healthy. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bada uzubillah min shaitan rajim, وَأَوْحَى رَبُّكَ إِلَى النَّارِ أَنِ اتَّخِذِي مِنَ الْجِبَالِ بُيُوتًا وَمِنَ الشَّجَرِ وَمِمَّا يَعْرُشُونَ ثُمَّ كُلِي مِنْ كُلِّ الثَّمَرَاتِ فَاسْلُكِي سُبُلَ رَبِّكِ ذُلُلًا يَخْرُجُ مِنْ بُطُونِهَا شَرَابٌ مُخْتَلِفٌ أَلْوَانُهُ فِيهِ شِفَاءٌ لِلنَّاسِ إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. Honey, guaranteed, that is full of health. And even though it's sweet, but we said that, hey, if you have this wife, then why do you have to worry? We should have actually said, hey, even though if they are saying whether it's good or not, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us honey, why not go for honey? Or the other natural stuff, like xylitol, Xylitol, or stevia, Stevia, or maple syrup. Those are just good. Or if you want to trick yourself, the Prophet ﷺ has given us taking dates. See, well, dates are good. And according to Hadith, if you have ajwa dates, 7 is enough to actually protect you spiritually from all these bad omens. And Imam Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah also in his prophetic medicine has actually said that not only ajwa dates, but dates, Medina dates. And alhamdulillah, if ajwa dates is a big deal, at least Medina dates is something that we have access to. And so, well, if I have my tea, and if I don't have honey, or I have honey that I don't trust, at least I have dates. Just like, when we were young, if you remember those days, they give you a cube, you chew a cube, then you take porridge. You take it to match the porridge all the way to the end, because if you put one in, it's not going to be enough. And so the bread is shaking his head. You remember those good olden days, right? MashaAllah. Our children don't know this. So even if you giving them all this, when they get angry, they tell you, Daddy, you know more my friend. I say, you know more my friend, as if you are a friend. And so if you take dates and bite dates and then drink your tea, at the end of the day, you have the sweetness and it's healthy. That's us as Muslims. But today we are suffering from all diseases just like everybody else. Mondays and Thursdays fasting has become thing of the past. And sometimes even if we fast, it's just like we're doing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a favor. So sometimes that's how we feel. And because we're not taking it serious, we couldn't even actually extend it to our children. Because fasting is not only good spiritually, if that could actually turn your face from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wrath, from hellfire, for 70 years, in Sahih Bukhari, according to the hadith of Sa'id al-Khudri, that enough is something that we should be yearning for Mondays and Thursdays fasting. One day fasting, one day. And it's distancing you from Jahannam, hellfire, for 70 years. Forget about all these health issues, health benefit. This is just a side issue. This is the big deal, the real deal. When was the last time we fasted and were bold enough to wake our children to fast? Well, if you are afraid, we now pamper our children to the extent that we don't even want to disturb them to come for Fajr. And because to fast, which means you have to wake up even a little bit earlier. Well, if you can wake your child to actually fast with you, because you don't want to disturb his sleep, because that sleep is going to, interfere with his school, how can we extend this legacy for them to be healthier? And that's why for the first time in human history, you see children having type 2 diabetes. After the khutbah, if you want, just walk into this hospital. Tell them whether they have a medical book. They can give you a medical book. Will children have type 2 diabetes? They don't have it. If you see a book that lists children as having type 2 diabetes, it's a new book. all the old books, medical books on endocrinology, and that has facing diabetes or talking about diabetes or dealing with diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is always, that's why it's called adult onset. You know, after the 40 years, which is regular, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Ba'da a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, hatta idha balagha ashuddahu wa balagha 40 sana." And that epic of growth, things will start crumbling. But because we are not taking it to the next level, it's not affecting our children, so they're becoming more spoiled, and they don't know about fasting, and they're becoming more sicker, and that is affecting them psychologically, and we end up bearing the brunt. Any wonder 1 in 4 New Yorkers is suffering from hypertension? And then we have the audacity to ask why. My respected elders, my respected brothers and sisters, wallahi, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us is so unique, is so special, that we should remember the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahaba actually, literally speaking, have to use their necks to protect this deen. It came to us very easily. And now we don't have time to actually extend it to our neighbors. And that is another issue. And now it's even within our families. And because we pamper our children and not giving them this, it has come to a certain point that the same school that we don't want to disturb, the same school that we don't want to disturb, for that we don't want to wake our children for Fajr, because we are afraid is when they go to classes they're going to feel sleepy. The same school is that which teaches them the definition of family as being you, your wife, and your children. And so the day our children get married, the definition that they know, which has been implanted in them, the day they get married, you are no more part of the family. You have to remember that. And that is why when they're taking you to dump you in nursing home, they don't have that feeling. Because you're now kind of like a burden. So they just want to get rid of you. You came from tradition where the older you get, the more respect you have. And then you have all this, your children and grandchildren, well protected, well respected. And the moment you cough, your son, your grandson, your cousins, everybody's asking, what do you want? Here's just the opposite. You're getting old, it's 2 things. Either you run back home, and you're not going home anyway. Because 80% of those who retire, 80 to 90% of those who retire, they're still here. They're even afraid to go home. Those who retire, and how much more us. And so our children are now looking the way we're treating them, and then they're writing them in their diary to know where to dump you. Whether a high class, you're going to the nursing home anyway, but they just want to know whether that nursing home is of high class or where they're going to abuse you. It depends on the way you treat them. Oh, daddy didn't give me cereal this week, so the person writes it in his diary. So even dumping in a quote-unquote good nursing home, they think they're doing good. Why? Because they didn't teach them in school. That they didn't teach them that. That by worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first, the next thing that comes is what? Respect for your parents. They didn't teach them that. And that's why they find it very easy. When you ask them for something, they give you with the left hand. And someone was telling me that, subhanAllah, look at the way he's giving it with the left hand as if it's normal. Of course it's normal. To him it's normal. Why? We send him to school. And he was educated by someone, a Christian if you like it, then alhamdulillah, at least he's a Christian. And in some cases by an atheist who doesn't even believe in God. Now, in both cases, those we've sent them to actually train them, to nurture them psychologically, intellectually. They eat with their left hand. And anytime they write something, they give the papers to them with their left hand. And our children are giving it back to them with their left hand. And they don't complain. The teacher is smarter than me. I've come to learn. The teacher is eating with his left hand, and anytime he marks, he gives me with his left hand. So that becomes the norm. So unless we have time to train our children, to teach our children, we shouldn't expect them to know. We should remember that. We shouldn't expect them to know. And sometimes we wonder, why are they behaving the way they behave? It's because we didn't have time to teach them to behave the way we want them to behave. You know, based on the Quran and the Sunnah. And sometimes because the way we interact among ourselves, the type of conversation that is going among ourselves, they don't take it serious. They don't take it serious. If you look at the division among us, something very funny, seriously funny. You know, when we discriminate against each other, first, even though Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ba'da a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, wa'tasimu bihablillahi jami'an wa la tafarraqu. Hold on onto the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do not be divided. So Islam comes first. Put that aside for now. Yes, it's true, but what? You know, but we are from this part of the world. You know, we are from West Africa, for instance. So right there, yes, you are a Muslim, but you know, but this is West African thing. And once you have the West African thing, then we discriminate based on countries. Those colonized by the British, speaking English, and those colonized by the French, speaking French. Those colonized by Britain, speaking English, they see, you know, these people are not sophisticated. They speak French. They're not that sophisticated. And those speaking French, they're very suspicious. These people are very, they're very criminal. Within short time, they're just gonna get rid of you. You know, they're gonna, do some trick. You know, there's I'm not gonna mention the country. There's one English and French country. The French country, this is in West Africa. They're so suspicious of their English-speaking neighbor that they have a joke that if your chicken gets across the board into the English-speaking country, when it gets back, just slaughter it. If not, it's going to corrupt the other's chicken. It's going to tell them, like, just cross the border and see how they are well fed. If you don't do that, they're not going to even give you eggs. This is the suspicion. It's based on colonialism. Imagine, Muslims. And then we come to tribes, and then we come to this thing. And anytime we sit down to talk, we talk about the past. Anytime you see us talking, we're talking about the past. You know, last year this thing happened. 2 years ago, that politician did this. When are we going to have the real talk? The talk about the talk. That if this is what is going on today in America, then it means in the next 15, 20, 30, 40 years, we projected it's going to be like that. And if that is the case, how are we going to prepare our children today for them to actually meet that challenge? The day we start talking like that, our children will take us serious. But actually that will not come unless we rely back to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his messengers actually what they gave us. And that is the unity. That is, you should see yourself as a Muslim. A Muslim is one who totally submits to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, serving the Creator, worshiping the Creator and serving the creation. How could you serve the creation if you don't have the resources? If you don't know what is going on? If you ask the brothers living around this area, where did they have the meeting? You know, the board meeting, the local area. We don't know. We just go to work and come. We go to work and come. We don't even understand the system. Some of us have not even recovered from what the cultural shock since the first day we stepped here. How could we then prepare our children? Everybody else is doing it except us. And if scientists are now discovering things that we knew over 1,400 years ago, why is it that we're not sophisticated? That is the question that begs for an answer. It's one thing to actually survive, and it's another to actually live. We don't want to be survivors, because that negatively impacts our children. People don't have time now to actually read. They just watch. What we got? They just watch. If Napoleon Bonaparte, with that big brain, will envision taking over Europe and thereby the world, and his early 20s, by 23 years, Napoleon Bonaparte had the whole French army under his fist. 23 years. And he was a drunkard. What did I say? Napoleon Bonaparte had problems with drinking. Our children are Muslims. They don't have issue with drinking. And yet, at the age of 23, you go to colleges and ask them, what are you studying? They don't know. They fall into the category of what is called undecided. Our children spend time in colleges, undecided. They don't know what to do. We don't direct them, and they don't know how to direct themselves. And at the end of the day, we are all stuck in the same apartment, blaming each other. Blame game will not take us anywhere. It's time to be a little bit serious. We are Muslims. Because at the end of the day, and this is the scariest part, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to hold us responsible. The children are Aman. Our children are Aman. Our children are Aman. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not give you children for tax season. Sometimes the only time we see the value of our children is when we want to file tax. Wallah, it's not a tax thing. And that is why only, I think last week, a sister came with her daughter, and they were fighting, literally fighting. The mother wanted to file and put her daughter on a file, to file using her daughter. The daughter is refusing because, she's working, and when she calculated, if the mother puts her on it, she's going to lose financially. And it turned into fight. It turned into a fight because the mother wants, and for the mother, she's not going to get money. It's only that it's going to reduce what she's going to pay. The daughter doesn't care. She didn't care. She just wants the money. The money is more important to her than what her mother will go through. This is our own children. It never crossed in your mind to actually infuriate your dad, right or wrong. When your dad speaks, it's not even a suggestion, it's a command. But here we are, we say, and the question is why? We keep on blaming the system. How do we fix it? It's right there in front of us in Al-Quran and the Sunnah. The only reason our children are treating us the way they're treating us is because they don't know our value. And wallahi, we gave them more and more and more than what our parents gave us. I don't know if it was in this same masjid. I've never in my entire life had one conversation with my dad, never. Like to sit down and talk and laugh with my dad, not even once. If my dad spoke, it's either a question or a command. From me to my dad, it's either a question or a request. That's it. No conversation. And yet, I can't remember for the past 30 years that I never prayed for my dad in the sujood for the past 30 years. I can't remember. That this is a salah that I finished without praying for my dad. And here are our children. All what they have to do is, open the fridge, take what they want, you give them money, they go to school, they come back. Sometimes we go and pick them, mashallah. We pamper them, we don't want to give them trouble, so they have nice sleep for Fajr. Anytime they wake up, mashallah, we hurry them to school. On Saturday and Sunday, it's madrasa, it's not that important. So we let them sleep up to the time that they wake up, then we send them to the masjid. Mashallah, takbir, mashallah, it's just good. And now, we're getting the feedback. Wallahi, it's time to get serious. If one of us will migrate from Kenya, gave birth to a child right here, and he walked his way to become the president of America, tell me why our children driving, born right here, why are they driving Uber? Why? 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 Now, I'm not discrediting the Uber, but that should be us. For every community that comes here, the first generation go through a whole lot of suffering. It takes time to get your papers. It takes time to do this. But our children shouldn't go through that. And part of our problem is when we come, this is someone's home. And for you to actually maneuver, to navigate through a city, through a home, knowing that this is the furniture, you have to know it through someone who lives in that building, right or wrong. When we come, our brothers and sisters of American descent, born right here, whether the African Americans, whether the whites, we don't discriminate. We try to sideline them. And they know we speak English, they speak the language. And so it's part of the reason why up to this day we can't figure out what's actually going on. And it boils down to where I started, that discrimination, and it's killing us. Our children forget about where you came from. Our children are Americans. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to hold us responsible. It's time for us to be real with ourselves. Think big. Remember that we were great and we're still great. Because if scientists are now finding out what we knew 1,400 years ago, we should extend it to our children so that they take it to the next level. And so when it comes to our children, by the time it gets to our great-grandchildren, you should be able to say, you know what, this used to be the son of this immigrant. This is, that African American brother here, when he got married to this sister from Senegal or here, that's their son. This, and we should be able to do that. Now that we pointing to Mr. Obama, we know his dad, we from the same village, we do this, and we're proud of that. We're proud of our brother Hussein. May Allah have mercy on him. He never envisioned that one day his son would become the president. But he didn't become the president just because his father's name was Hussein, because he was prepared to do it, and they prepared everything as a launching pad for him to take over. When Muslims actually replicated that in London, it's happening. And that's how they got the first Muslim mayor in London. So much so that even it was said that one lady killed she committed suicide. That we can't handle this. The Anglican capital of the world, for the first time to have a Muslim as the mayor, I can't take this. So she has committed suicide. When I was there some 2-3 months ago, we planned to actually meet the mayor, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala agreed. But the point is, they believe in what was happening. They copied what Mr. Obama did, and it happened. So what are we doing about it? We have to be real with our children. We have to start to talk the talk. We have to know that we are Muslims, put all this segregation aside, work hard, and think big. When we think big and knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to hold us responsible for our children, let us prepare them psychologically, spiritually, intellectually, and let them believe they can do it. When you believe you can do it, the mind will start to think how to do it, inshallah. But now if you leave them on their own, because we go to work and come because we want to make money, you can never make money working hard in America, never. You can survive, but you can't hit big. You make money in America working smart, not working hard. And so if you have all reason why we can't work smart, because we have issue, I have assigned, my papers, it's not our children. So that they can say, yes, we are Muslims. This is what we got. With that, when they say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, they take them serious. People don't have time now to read. They just watch you. What you got? That's what they measure. And so if you say, I'm a Muslim, you have to show the difference. What makes you a Muslim? And that's why the Sahaba made the difference. People look at them, they operate on a very different level. As if they're not from this world. And they ask them, why are you so special? They say, that's Islam. They say, we want to become Muslims. Today, people look at us, they're running away from Islam. It's time to change that. It's not too late. Wallahi, it's doable. We owe it to ourselves, we owe it to our children. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our faith. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكن من الخاسرين. الحمد لله ثم الحمد لله ثم الحمد لله القائل الحمد لله الذي له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وله الحمد في الآخرة وهو الحكيم الخبير وصلى الله وسلم على رسول الله وعلى آله الأطهار وصحابة الأبرار. أما بعد, my respected elders, brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, هل جزاء الإحسان إلا الإحسان in Surah Al-Rahman. I'm a little bit shaky because my sheikh is sitting right in front of me here, so I don't feel comfortable, quoting Quran. MashaAllah. But basically, is there any reward or giving back to something that is good other than good? America has given you the opportunity. What are you giving back? America has its own problems. We don't want to have children that will add to the problem. We want children that will actually help solve the problem. And so when they speak, America will listen. And wallahi, we have to rethink the way we think. And alhamdulillah, it's not too late. It's not too late. We just have to change the way the conversation going around us. The past is okay, but let's the past take care of the past. We should talk of the future. We should talk of hope. We should know who we are. We are Muslims. Even as I speak, scientists are yet to discover even 10% of what Quran has actually given us over 1,400 years ago. That's a lot. And so we're not inventing something new. We're just going back to our roots. It starts with knowledge. And today you find a Muslim the whole day. He has never read something new. He has never learned something new. So which means your whole day has gone down the drain. You've never learned something new. You've never read something new. You make it a promise every day, at least I should learn something new. With this, when you talk, your child will take it serious because he's seeing the dad is doing what he's telling to do. But if you keep, our children are on WhatsApp and we are on WhatsApp, they're talking to their friends, we call them back home, and then we are on TV. How do we tell them to be serious with education? Remember, most of the Sahaba were after the age of 40, just like the Prophet ﷺ, before they started learning Al-Islam. So it's not too late. Wallahi, it's not too late. And we should impart that to our children. Let them know. Scientists are saying this is in Al-Quran. Let them be proud of Al-Islam. Let them know that, yes, this is America. We expect you to contribute positively, to help move America forward. You're not just like passing by. You leave it a mark. We believe you can do it. Well, let's have a community and see the children, categorize them. You people, based on the knowledge that you have, let's see that how we're going to give you Al-Quran, memorize Al-Quran, and get into science. Memorize Al-Quran, or if you can't remember, at least if you have, get into this. It's a planned work. Everybody else is doing it. The Jews are doing it. The Chinese Americans are doing it. Everybody else is doing it except us. Wallah, it's not too late. We shouldn't just keep on talking. We should categorize it. If you have to start this week, let's do it. If you have to start, have the children, let the children know that the community counts on them. And the community is, as they say, the community is watching. That will give them that pride. It will give them sense of direction. When they have problem, they can come and talk to us. Let us be open. Or at least if you don't want, at least let your children at least know that if you can't talk to our dad direct, this is his friend. And we can only do that when we got to know each other. For past 10, 15, 20 years, we've been meeting in the masjid. We know each other by face. We don't know our names. We don't know where we live. Nobody knows where nobody knows where nobody lives. Let me put it that way. We don't know each other. We call each other brother. That is sarcastically calling each other brother when we don't know our names. That's not enough. We should let our children know that this is not just only your uncle. This is his name. This is where he lives. Brother, what do you got? This is what I got. Hey, I think based on what you got and what I got, we can combine together. I think we can have a company. We can operate. As I said it the last time, we are sick and tired of working for others for nothing. It's time we take charge of our lives and be financially independent and pass on the legacy to our children, so that by the time we are dying off, at least we know we left back legacy that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked us, we said, yes, you gave us Islam and we did our best to give it out. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our first. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. قوموا إلى صلاتكم يرحمكم.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة وقد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين قاف والقرآن المجيد بل عجبوا أن جاءهم منذر منهم فقال الكافرون هذا شيء عجيب أإذا متنا كنا ترابا ذلك رجع بعيد قد علمنا ما تنقص الأرض منهم وعندنا كتاب حفيظ بل كذبوا بالحق لما جاءهم فهم في أمر مريج أفلم ينظروا إلى السماء فوقهم كيف بنيناها وزيناها وما لها من فروج والأرض مددناها وألقينا فيها رواسي وأنبتنا فيها من كل زوج بهيج تبصرة وذكرى لكل عبد منيب ونزلنا من السماء ماء مباركا فأنبتنا به جنات وحب الحصيد والنخل باسقات لها طلع نضيد رزقا للعباد وأحيينا به بلدة ميتا كذلك الخروج الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر. الله الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. في سبيل الله وجزاكم الله خير. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Fisabilillah, first of all, Fisabilillah, we would like to thank Imam, inshallah. May Allah increase his knowledge and forgive our sins. May Allah accept our dua and our prayers. May Allah bless our kids, inshallah. Secondly, don't forget your masjid. Fisabilillah, Fisabilillah. And we have food. The sisters are bringing food for everybody. So please, after the 2 rakah, you can stay and join with us, inshallah. There's food for everybody. Peace abilillah, brothers and sisters. Peace abilillah. Peace abilillah.
Sallau. That was his sound coming here. Yeah, no, sorry. I want to say what
Yes. After these people, you hold the door. The lady's going to come Anybody ready to go outside?
No, es lo que dice. Close to here. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna see something quick. Huh? Okay.
Walau sebab salah lagi. Ada tak?
C'est fini. Oui, c'est bon. On laisse ça d'abord. Idriss, Our campaign name is Mrs. Nadi. Voilà.
Yeah.